One of the most destructive experiences that I've ever been a part of is gossip. And I'm going to be talking about why it's destructive, how it's destructive, and what you can do to avoid it. And here it is. When you start talking about somebody, it's because you're not focusing on yourself, what's really going on inside of you, the hurt, the disappointment, whatever it is. So instead of going to the person and talking to them about what the problem is, you have to go to somebody else. And then they say, oh, I get it. And so you're poisoning your friend or whoever you're gossiping to. You're taking your anger and giving it to them. And so now there's two people over here who don't like this person. And then you find somebody else. Can you believe Patty did this? Can you believe she's done it again? And instead of somebody coming directly to me and say, I'm really struggling with this. Can you help me? Can we talk this out? What happens is you create division. And in this idea and vision of mine to have a more unified world, to have a more loving world, eliminating gossip and criticism is one way to do it. And it's so easy, except you're probably addicted to the drama that it creates. So just kind of take a look at yourself and see how you are and how you behave as the observer when you're around friends. Now, there are times when we need to share something or we want to share something. And if it is, I don't share from somebody's name. What I do is like, I struggled with this and this is what I did, but I don't bring somebody into it anymore. I used to be that person. And what I've discovered is people gossip in unsafe environments where they're not heard, where they're not validated. And that can be destructive as well. So whether you're at church or whether you are in a community or at work, if there is not a culture of emotional and spiritual safety, then that means people aren't free to share what's going on with them. And a friend of mine who's a CEO of a company, of an organization, she follows Brene Brown's words, which is directness is kindness. So instead of going back and talking to somebody about somebody's behavior, about what they did wrong, and instead of creating these cliques and groups about who's better than the other, I just encourage you just to keep your mouth shut, as my friend Jorge says in his book, the shut up method. And I'm just going to read quickly from One Day at a Time that supports this. And one of the things that happens in one of my 12-step programs are these words, and I want you to listen to them carefully. Talk to each other, reason things out with someone else, but let there be no gossip or criticism of one another. Instead, let the love and peace of our spiritual practices grow in you one day at a time. And today, that peace brings me that place where I need to be. Today, I avoid gossip, and in doing so, I keep from being controlled, controlling, and judgmental. I put the focus on myself one day at a time. And this is also something that is really important too. Whom you see here, what you hear here, when you leave here, let it stay here, is a lesson not only in maintaining anonymity, but also in avoiding gossip. So if you were to have a spiritual practice today on this beautiful Sunday, I would encourage you to use that as one, write that down as one of your practices for today. I'm not going to gossip about anybody. I'm just going to accept them as they are. And if I have a problem with somebody, I can work things out with them by talking to them directly. And I have another video. I have a group of videos on gossip if you want to check them out right here. I love you. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe and put in the comments below if this resonates with you. Talk to you later.